All right, guys, in the rip, and we got 3 games at conference left. Does it seem like you're just getting started?
Time goes, games go. It just goes by so fast. Life. Um, but yeah, I feel like we got some good momentum. I feel like the guys have, 2 young guys, fearless. Braxton, you see, keep improving. Uh, Three-quarter court pressures helped us. Our defense is getting better. Uh, so yeah, I feel like we're just getting started. Feel like we're getting better, and that's been exciting.
Talk about Braxton, and I taught you about this after the game. Just when Nova was here, he went through a phase where he was just getting hit in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, for 4 or 5 straight games.
Yeah.
And it seems like Braxton's at that point where guys are starting to heat up.
He gets a lot of attention, and he gets a lot of physicality. A lot of people, you're taught, like, if you don't want him to get the ball, you're trying to hit him early so he doesn't get deep post position. So people are hitting him in the lower back, and if you're smaller, all those different things. But he's been a trooper. He's been working really hard. He's gotten in better shape. I think that's a big thing, that he's constantly improved his shape to be able to play those minutes. The coaches have done a good job of teaching him how to play and still have an impact at the rim with playing without getting in foul trouble. And that's been a huge part. He's made some after rebounds or loose balls where they've given him fouls, but in terms of being able to be disciplined and walling up and those types of things, he's really improved.
We get further into the season, and it seems like games get more physical. The refs let the game be more physical. Is that more of an advantage or a disadvantage, or does it matter?
With physical playing teams, it plays to what they, to their strength. What we have to learn is, when we play physical teams, we got to match that physicality. Some teams, that's what they do. With our guards, we're a little bit slight. So teams that, people allow them to play really physical in that. We've got to do a good job of drawing fouls and making it obvious. And then our other guys playing through contact, that's a huge part as we move forward. But I actually like the more physical play. What you want is you just want it to be equal on both sides. That's all. If they want to play, if they want to call that the whole game, that's what they're going to have to call. I get a little frustrated sometimes when, they're playing physical on Braxton, then Braxton's the guy with 3 fouls, and we're in a zone, and then you're playing somebody else and they've got 1 foul, and they've been hitting him the whole time. That's where you get a little bit frustrated. But I think the refs, recently have done a really good job of it's hard to referee. It's hard to referee really good big guys.
When you're going to, pressuring the backcourt and going with traps and things like that, is that typically part of the game plan, or is that just a strategy to try to speed the game up and get you guys?
I think both. I think PJ, Corin, Minifield, they've got a nose for the ball. They're disruptive. They like to play that way. Keeps teams off balance. Can force teams to play faster. Can force teams to play slower. But I think at the end of the day, it's still, they're wondering, are they coming in trapping, or are they just going back? I think it forces you to kind of be on alert at all times.
And you mentioned your guards being slight, with, Keon's he's going to be slight for the rest of his life, and Cord probably needs to get the weight room in this off-season.
Yeah, sure.
But, Noah's not 100%. I know you put Jamal back there a little bit, but PJ hasn't been playing that much lately either. Can you talk a little bit about that rotation?
Yeah, you know what? It's I think having the 2 dynamic guards in the game have been really good for us in terms of speed, getting it down the court. Our transition is as good as it's been. They both have a pretty high IQ in terms of how they play. They make others around them better. They do make a lot of mistakes. What we're trying to clean up, and that's what freshmen do. But that speed thing is real. They both have the ability to shoot, pass, dribble, and shoot. Noah hasn't been 100%. PJ has given us great minutes, has been great, but sometimes in games you just kind of go with what's working, and those two have worked.
Freshman mistakes. Can you give me an idea of some freshman mistakes that just you gotta live with that?
Well, I think when they play aggressive and they're trying to make the right play to a teammate, they might throw it away, or leaving their feet and trying to make a pass rather than coming to 2 feet. Those things, them trying to be unselfish, I'm okay with. When they step out of bounds or try to split a double team or those types of things, those are just them trying to force the issue. They got to allow the game to come to them. And when they do that and they're learning and they've had some incredible moments, they're pretty special.
With freshmen, it's not always a straight line of improvement. They go up and take a step back. But, Keon Menafield coming along, freshman of the week this week.
Yeah.
Is he taken another step forward here the last couple?
I think so. He's, he can shoot it, he can score, he can create, he can pass. He's still learning. He's trying to be everything to our team. And, that's a hard deal, and especially being a freshman, the quality of this league. But most recently, I think he's starting after a USC game, he's been really, really consistent in terms of understanding what's he going to give you. Score, pass, get in transition, finds the open guys. So he's a heck of a player. Now he rebounded. He had 8 rebounds tonight, which is huge. Now it's on the defensive end, his steals and being a little bit more consistent on some of his coverages. But really proud of him.
And Lorenzo was pretty adamant when he was here that he didn't have a point guard. He had guards. Is Keon Menafield a point guard? Is Cora Johnson a point guard, or are they just guards?
I think, there's the difference of the traditional point guard who, and he calls to play and he organizes and is safe. And, these guys they both play point guards. They're guards. I think they're the modern day point guards, and they can get you in your offense. They have the ability to score. They have the ability to make others around them better. The thing that makes his special point guard is decision-making over time, and then being a coach on the floor. And I think as a freshman, those are things that they have the potential to be, that they're still growing into. But I think those are things that they're obviously going to improve on, and you only improve by playing and learning and watching film and studying.
Keon Brooks is a good rebounder, but when he's rebounding real well and making it a mindset, it seems to really help his offense.
Yeah.
And what's that switch for Keon to be fair on the offensive end?
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's one of those things where if you tell a guy who's a scorer, listen, focus on get 8 to 10 rebounds today. Seems like they have their best scoring games because they're not focused on that. And that's where you just got to be lost in the game. But for us to become the team that we can become, we've got to defensive rebound better. And we got to eliminate our turnovers. That's the bottom line. If we can do, those are 2 of our weaknesses that we've had. That if we could just improve a little bit, everybody just 1%, hit singles rather than trying to swing for the fence in terms of plays on the offensive end. And on the defensive end, it takes 5 guys. I think we when we put our minds to it, we're pretty good at it, and we've tried to practice it every day and focus on it and do drills about it. And now they've got to be able to go out there and execute it. But those 2 areas, if we can improve in those 2 areas, we can take a next step.
The game felt Oregon State, which you see that you really liked, but did you see that you've got to work on to make this a successful road trip?
I think our defense has been really good. I think that's been where I've been really happy. Offensively against Oregon, obviously Keon Menafield had a great game. We still had too many turnovers, and there was still some rebounding opportunities. But for the most part, like I said, if we can improve in those 2 areas, I was impressed with how Jamal Bay has played in the last couple of games. I think that gives us a huge step moving forward. I think still there's more for Cole. Hasn't had as many minutes, and he's such an elite player and can change the game shooting the ball for us. And so I think there's still major room for growth in terms of us on the offensive end, where everything's clicking at the same time. The other thing that I think has been huge for us is Braxton, being able to play that many minutes and staying out of foul trouble and still being an impact on both ends of the floor. Yeah, those are the things that after watching it, I feel really good about.
You know, a couple other guys, if they sense the frustration with the other teams, with the defense you guys are playing in, you guys sometimes go to a little bit of man and they come back in the cell end. Even in the league now for a while, they've seen this before. Could you as a coach sense the other teams getting frustrated with what you're doing on weekends?
Well, yes, you can. And, you're trying to figure it out. And good defense really just takes away the rhythm of the offense, and you do a great job on their top players. Obviously, it's not perfect, but, with a new group, really, Braxton's his first year here. Keon Brooks is his first year here. Keon Minifield's in his first year here. Corin Johnson's in his first year here. Cole's been here. Noah Williams in his first year here. So you're still learning. In the last 3 years, we haven't been able to have that continuity of major players coming back year after year. And I think, that's where you kind of have the road bumps of that type of a thing. Now, say all those guys come back next year, now you have what? You're way ahead in terms of defensively, offensively understanding those types of things. And that's what we're trying to get to. But it takes time to learn our defense. People think, it's like a little league baseball. Hey, better swing. There's a lot of rotations. There's a lot of communication. They're learning a new language because a lot of these guys played at man-to-man schools. People would always say, gosh, your zone was so good, but probably because you had Matisse Thybulle. And obviously Matisse Thybulle was pretty darn special. What people don't understand is our first 13 games that year, we were one of the worst defensive teams in the country. Teams were averaging 77 points against us. But what happened is over time, over those 13 games and going, we got a lot of reps in what we're doing. David Chris got better. They started understanding how we play it. We started doing it, and then we ended up being the number one defensive efficiency team in the league. That takes time. People think all of a sudden it was, we had a really good defensive player and our defense just became really good. It's everybody. Your defense, you're only as good as your weakest link. And so it's the buy-in, it's the belief, it's the understanding, and that's what you see with our guys right now. Now what we have to do is we're getting them to miss. Now we got to finish with rebounding. That is the number one most important thing for us right now.
Jalen Noel at practice yesterday. What was his message?
Talked about being part of a great team and those types of things. I think the big message that I took away is to be great. And he says, I've watched your team. I've watched a lot of the games. The biggest thing that I could tell you guys is you go on these like this because he says, I think it's lack of focus. The one thing I had to learn over time is being focused and being there in that moment, really locked in, and that can help us take us to another level. And I thought that was, in today's world, it's Netflix, internet, TikTok. There's so much excess stuff that the more that we can focus and lock in, and especially when we're there for that 2 hours or when we're, in that gym and really lock in and we get those moments to play, really being focused and really executing that way.
Cal, Stanford, they've seen you've seen them where the keys is.
Cal, we got to keep, a lot of times we focus on us. And so a big thing is we still got to play our defense based on how they operate offensively. They had a really good game plan against us in the first game. And, we've got to be better in certain areas. And so we'll work on that. And then offensively, they were doing a little bit of zone to man, confusing us a little bit. And so we'll be more prepared. But Mark Fox he's won at a high level. And I know he'll have his team ready. And that's all his teams play hard. They really defend well. We're going to have to be able to score. You got to be able to score on the road. But the one thing that we can really do to help us moving forward is defending. That travels. That's on the road at home. And then finishing with a rebound. That travels. And then offensively, we want to have space. We want to make sure we can execute better, share the ball. And then you got to be able to make some shots. And that's where, I think, getting Cole hot. He's had yesterday shot the ball well. Jamal Bay shooting the ball well, our two guards. That will be big moving forward. How you doing, Ken?